Hello everyone, and welcome back to Christian Cuddle Companions. Today I'd like to talk about something that many people experience, but very few people feel comfortable admitting. Have you ever found yourself in a room full of people, at work, at church, with family, or even out with friends, and yet somehow you still feel completely alone? If you have, I want you to know something. You are not strange, you are not weak. We often assume that loneliness is simply the absence of people. But in reality, loneliness is often the absence of being truly seen, understood, or accepted. You can be surrounded by conversation and still feel unheard. You can receive messages all day long and still feel disconnected. You can even spend time with people you love and still wonder whether anyone really knows how you're doing. In today's world, we're more digitally connected than ever before, but many people would quietly admit they've never felt more emotionally isolated. Sometimes we become so busy managing life, caring for others, working, studying, or simply trying to cope, that we lose the simple gift of authentic human connection. As Christians, we sometimes feel guilty for feeling lonely, as though faith should somehow protect us from those emotions. But the Bible paints a very different picture. King David cried out, "Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted." Psalm 25, verse 16. Even the prophet Elijah, after witnessing incredible miracles, found himself emotionally exhausted and isolated. And perhaps most moving of all, Jesus himself understood loneliness. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he asked his closest friends to stay awake with him, yet they fell asleep. In one of his darkest moments, he experienced the pain of feeling alone. Scripture doesn't pretend that faithful people never struggle. Instead, it reminds us that God meets us in those struggles. Often, loneliness isn't because there's nobody around us. It's because we don't feel safe enough to show people who we really are. Many of us have learnt to wear masks. We smile when we're hurting. We say, "I'm fine," when actually we're tired, anxious, or grieving. We become the strong one, the helper, the listener, and quietly forget that we need support too. Real connection doesn't come from having hundreds of acquaintances. It comes from having even one or two people with whom we can simply be ourselves without fear of judgment. And perhaps that's one of the greatest gifts of community. If this message speaks to you today, perhaps don't ask yourself, "What's wrong with me?" Instead, maybe ask, "What part of me is longing to be seen, heard, and understood?" Loneliness is not a character flaw. It is not a character flaw. It is often a quiet signal from the heart. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to become the loudest person in the room. You don't need to change who you are. Sometimes healing begins with one honest conversation, one act of kindness, one shared prayer, or one safe community where you can simply belong. Here at Christian Cuddle Companions, we believe that companionship is not about romance or popularity. It's about creating spaces where people can reconnect with hope, with faith, and with each other. So if you've ever felt alone, even while surrounded by people, please remember this. Your feelings are valid, your story matters, and you were never meant to walk this journey entirely by yourself. Thank you so much for spending these few moments with me today. If this message has resonated with you, perhaps consider sharing it with someone else who might need to hear it. And as always, if you'd like to support the work, you can do so by liking and subscribing. I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, take good care of yourselves, keep faith, and may God bless you and keep you always.